Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Welcome back.
So, guys, last night we made a video intending to put it on this channel, but then realized maybe we were not quite cryptic enough and we didn't want to risk anything, so we just ended up putting it on Brightian and BitChute instead. So, there is a video that's on Brightian and BitChute that we felt wasn't friendly enough for this.
Yeah, it's not as cryptic. It's more straightforward about the times we're in and things that are going on now.
But we tried to be cryptic, but but we have to be very, very cautious and careful. So again, thank you guys for deciphering what we're talking about. And so we're gonna have a little history lesson here. And so Thomas Jefferson signed the act in 1807, and you guys could see the word that's right there because, as we know, there's a lot of triggers. 1807, that was a long time ago, to foil a plot by Aaron Burr, which, it's so interesting because Aaron Burr was from Fairfield, Connecticut, and that's where I grew up. And then actually his, I don't know how many two of his great removed grandsons were very good friends of mine, and I actually was, privy to a lot of the family history and talking about it. And there is a place called Burr Mansion. There's a house, I should say, called Burr Mansion in Fairfield. It's about as big as the town hall is, and it's right down in the center there. Interesting anyway. So, Aaron Burr is also interesting because he had a famous duel. He was a hothead. He was a hothead a little bit.
Yeah, I bet you he was. But so this isn't the first time that this has come up. This idea has been used.
So with his political career in ruins after killing Alexander Hamilton in a duel that we were talking about, he set off to claim lands in the Southwest. No kidding. And President Jefferson intended to stop him. And so this particular act gives the president's authority to deploy active duty military to maintain or restore peace in time of crisis. And why are we bringing this up? Well, look at the location of the assets, where they're positioned. Very, very interesting. We've talked about that on another video, and we're bringing it up again because there's other things going on as well, and we've been getting from you guys lots of confirmation about things going on. And we see this tweet over here. There's a tremendous amount of military movement at Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada, and we lived literally across the street from Nellis pretty much.
Yeah, it was like in our backyard.
Exactly. I mean, we could literally, just crawl up on top of a hill and there it is, So we were very privy to all sorts of movement. 20 plus C-17s, which is unprecedented. Buckle up. Something is going down. The storm is coming. Yes. I do think so. It feels like that. I think what we're going to see is going to be unprecedented, and it's going to be something that's going to be shocking. That's what the that's what the Galactics told us. Going back to August, they said, brace yourselves. You need to brace yourselves for what's coming.
Well, yeah, I mean, things are going to become undeniable. Right now, people can ride a wave of denial and not look at certain things that disturb them. That's going to go away. All of that veil is going to be dropped, and people are going to see the truth, and it's going to hurt.
The other things, I mean, we've gotten so much info from the Galactics over the last 6 months about this time frame and what's the potential to happen. As we have a winter wonderland out there today. They've given us clues and indications of probabilities and possibilities, and of course, timelines can be shifted.
They can be shifted. Also, the Galactics, they prefer humans to use their own free will, so they don't step in and they don't use their will to impose. Humans, it's time for us to stand up on our own.
Yeah, definitely, and I think many people are doing it. People are getting up there and saying we don't approve, right. We don't submit, we don't like what we're seeing. And so, people are speaking up in droves, which is great. And that's exactly what has to happen.
Yeah, that's what we need to happen more and more. And I'm really impressed with the amount of information people are speaking up about.
Yeah, so there's other reports coming in about other interesting movement as well, like with China and Russia deploying their naval assets in such a way that transit to the U.S. would not take long. And this is from Hal Turner radio show, and he can be sensationalist at times, although he has also been proven accurate at times. And this article came out like right after we did the video the other day talking about this. There's been, if you guys pay attention to these type of things, the incidents, there's been so many this year, so many going on with testing, probing, prodding, seeing how the other side will react, as you see the fleet movement here.
There is a lot going on, you guys.
So, this is from the 8th. On the 8th in the morning, the British revealed they had been tracking the entire Russian northern fleet off the British coast this month as the Russians head out into the North Atlantic for something. Something. What we have gotten to, we have seen camps. We have seen these camps in the U.S. with troops from these two countries that we just named there, but alongside U.S. troops. Yeah. And this is what we have seen.
Well, that's what really bothers me is like ultimately they're all in on it.
Yeah, and this is the thing that's getting uncovered. This is the thing that's going to be dropping jaws, is that this is a planned event that's been planned for a long time, and we go back to 1871. And, here we're talking about this particular act in 1807. But in 1871, there was somebody that we've talked about a lot, a 33rd degree secret society initiate, initials AP, and had a statue pulled down of him recently in all the unrest that was going on, but said there was going to be 3 big wars, 3 wars that were going to engulf the world. And, that's planned since 1871. So, as he says here, stay tuned, folks. We're seeing history unfold. Yeah, we are seeing history unfold. And there's been an awful lot of stuff coming out, a ton of stuff coming out. And we see here out of military.com, B-52 bombers fly to Middle East in mission to deter Iran. We've seen troop withdrawals and bringing troops home. There's massive changes going on here. Massive changes as the country is completely divided. It's irrevocably divided. I can't see how unity can come with these 50 states anymore because it's so divided.
Right, nor do they want unity. They want chaos and they want division to help them, achieve their goals.
And China is ratcheting up the stakes with Taiwan. And, this is what we talked about also on the other video that's not on YT. There's the fact that China will roll into, this will be one of the first moves that it does. And, talking about reunification when there's hardly anybody alive that remembers a time when they were unified, so it's kind of ridiculous, but it's just, again, it's getting assets. And, our brother David over at DAP 2030 and Christian Ice Age Farmer have talked so much about the coming famine and all the crop losses and going in depth into that, and talked about, especially David has talked about how certain areas, say Northern Africa, can become a breadbasket in these times when things shift. And we see this article, the Russians are coming, agreement with Sudan for logistics naval base, officially published online. Why? Because assets. Again, this is going to be those that can feed their people will prevent the uprising of their people and overthrowing the power structure.
Right. Everybody has an agenda. Everybody has an agenda. So that's what we have to keep in mind.
And while there is puppeteers that control things on the very highest of levels, there are also people in very high levels of government that don't have a clue of what's really going on.
No, not at all.
No, I mean, they really don't. And there's so many that are honestly perplexed. There's one state representative from Arizona that I follow that's very honest. And, I don't think he gets the whole picture. I think he has suspicions of the whole picture. But I still don't think he gets it. But his heart's in the right place, and we could see that. So there are people out there that really, really want to do the best for their country and really, really are all about, doing the best and really upholding what they vision to be the right things to do. Yet we know at the very highest levels there's a puppet show going on.
Yes, and I do believe a lot of these people that want to do the right thing, this is the heart chakras opening up, getting bigger. That's very important to recognize that in these times.
A lot of people have been talking about the last 4 videos, I think it was, that were put out by Diehold Foundation. So we started to take a look at those, and it seemed like he was reiterating what he had said before. He does believe there's going to be a big solar blast. Some have called it the sun sneezing, and he's figuring it for 2046, which would make sense to us too, because we see that type of event is quite a ways out.
Yes.
It's not right around the corner. What's around the corner is what we're talking about right now.
All of this chaos when it comes to, politics and people establishing where they want to be, getting their footing, kind of jockeying for their position.
Yeah, we saw the earliest that we could get hit by that type of energetic energy might be like around 2035 at the earliest. So that's a ways off, but it doesn't mean that the hardest years are still, ways off. In some ways, the next 4 years are probably going to be the toughest.
Yeah, I think they're going to be tough and critical.
Yeah, and we are discovering the rottenness that has been going on inside this country as well as other countries. There's so much infiltration, it's going to boggle the mind. As you see this out of military.com, Virginia sailor pleads guilty to giving information to Russians. There's going to be a ton of that. Not just Russia, but the other country we've been talking about as well. There's going to be so much that's going to be exposed. It's going to blow people's minds.
Well, it's probably going to take up the next 5 to 10 years of our existence to get this unwound. I mean, it's so convoluted. It's so tied together. It's going to be very difficult to pick it apart.
And yet we might find ourselves in the midst of a battle, and all these wars that have gone on since the Second World War, it's been nonstop war. The United States has been at war for like 95% of the time, more than that, I think, 95% of the years of its existence, and that's increased a lot, especially since 2001, and it's always been over there, but there is karma. There's a law of cause and effect. And there is the very great likelihood that it won't be over there very soon.
Right, that's true. Yeah.
And that's going to shake people to the core as well. And there's a lot of moves going on right now. There's all sorts of moves. And you see after Libya and Karabakh, Turkey is preparing to ship its Syrian proxies to Kashmir. And again, there's scrambling for resources going on, and it's not just Sudan, and it's not just Russia. As we know, Russia and China have been investing a ton into Africa and into South America, Central America, and it's done on purpose. And there's been what we have seen, and Cindy has seen clearly, there's people that have been in this country for even a generation, grown up in this country, that are dormant cells, so to speak, awaiting activation.
Yes, they have been, and they're going to do as they're told because they've been trained and they've been, I don't know if coerced is the right word, but they have a mission and they're going to fulfill it.
And on Evolutionary, back on January of 2018, I did a video sharing all the visions that I've had going back to 1984 of this time period. And so many of you have shared as well. You've seen this. You've seen what's coming. And, it's hard for us to imagine that there will be foreign troops on U.S. soil. But that does feel like that is perhaps just around the corner.
It does, and I feel that's going to be where the mind is going to get blown, is people are not going to expect it, or at least they're going to be in denial or have cognitive dissonance, and then boom, it's going to happen.
Yeah, there's been so many cases of this, and we talked in the video last night about all the rumors that were going on about that scenario that we were just talking about up in Canada, and then it turns out to be verified by some sources and official sources at that. And again, we can call things with the C word, right? They're all just nothing but conspiracies. But they always seem, for the most part, the vast majority of them turn out to have strong elements of truth.
Yeah, that's the thing with those conspiracies, is they turn out to be true time and time again.
So we just wanted to bring this info to you guys, and again, not fear-mongering, just knowing that there's tremendous change around the corner. So definitely prepare, listen, go within. It's so important to listen to the guidance within, because you're going to need the guidance within in the coming days with all that's going to be going on and unfolding right in front of our eyes. When you develop that guidance within, it makes all the difference in the world. I think about the Celestine Prophecy, for instance, in the movie The Celestine Prophecy, in this one scene, he's learning to trust his intuition, and he's being chased actually by military down in Peru, and he sees a path, it splits in two, and he looks at the path, and one path lights up, and he goes that way. And then it appears that he made the wrong choice because he gets caught, and he's like, oh gosh, why did I listen to my intuition? But what happens is he ends up finding a friend that's also been caught, and then they escape together. So it really was the right path, even though it looked like it might have been the wrong path. So developing that intuition is key, and it could be key for survival.
Right, and it's one thing you can do to trigger that development is, take really good care of yourself, eating right, exercising. That seems to trigger a lot of these messages to come in from your guides.
And they want you to talk to them. They don't want you to be afraid of them. And in many cases, people have been made to fear connecting with their own guides, simply because of religious indoctrination, which again is indoctrination that's planned by these beings that are in control in order to keep control and to keep the masses in the dark. So yes, develop your intuition, meditate, practice QiGong, do mantras, things along those lines, and listen to that voice within.
Yes, that's so important these days.
As always, guys, thank you for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. We couldn't do it without you. Anybody that needs to set up an appointment with us, reach out to us at EEARTS@protonmail.com. As always, God bless and namaste.
Namaste.